I grew up in a hoarder house. Mountains of garbage, hundreds of cats, mushrooms growing out of the carpet, the whole deal. AMA. I came from abject poverty, horrifying living conditions, public humiliation, extreme psychological/emotional/verbal/physical abuse. Ended up graduating from Stanford. Nothing off limits. Ask away. When did you realize other homes did not look like yours? I grew up in a small, affluent town that was almost 100% Italian, East Hanover, New Jersey. Most families had a stay-at-home mom who kept the house spotless. Many couches covered in plastic, that kind of thing. So I became aware from a very young age. There was also a lot of psychological conditioning from my mother letting us know we were different and had to work to keep others from knowing about it, otherwise they, usually the dreaded IFs or public health, would come and take us away from mommy. So yeah, it was pretty young. Do you have any health conditions from growing up in such a dirty environment? Yes, but can't complain too much because my sister got toxoplasmosis, which led to her losing eyesight in one eye. I got scarlet fever at a young age, which caused a lot of complications because it went untreated and became rheumatic fever. My temperature got so high it denatured the proteins in my enamel, so my teeth have been yellow all my life. But it also caused some lifelong heart and lung issues as well. As an adult or when you were younger, have you ever had a conversation with your mother about her hoarding? Does she recognize she has a problem? What do your siblings think? My siblings all recognize it. But the thing is, my siblings are 7, 9, 11, and 13 years older than me. Because my mother was younger with her other kids, she had more energy that she put into abusing them. They had it worse than me, so they're simply not as close to my mother as I am. They are kind of emotionally detached from her a bit. Even mentioning the word hoarding around my mother will cause her to scream like someone in a horror movie going through an exorcism. She is not a ducking hoarder. The way she acts almost makes it seem like she knows deep down she has a problem, but never would she ever admit to having a fault. She is a textbook narcissist, incapable of showing weakness or admitting to any fault. My siblings and I joke that, in our entire lives, we don't think we've ever seen or heard my mother apologize for anything ever. Every mistake she's ever made in her entire life has been someone else's fault. Every one. She'll ducking oversleep for work and it's my fault because she had bad dreams the night before because of a movie I watched 4 years ago. She likes watching the show Hoarders to make fun of the disgusting people on it. Often after visiting someone's house, she'll talk about how their house isn't that nice or clean. It's so ducking delusional. I wonder if other people actually understand what the word surreal means like I do. Are you a hoarder as well? No. When I was younger I had similar tendencies. I'd feel irrational emotional attachment to some things and take longer to throw them away. I kinda had my mom's tendency to think of things as having feelings, like, I've had that sweatshirt for so long, he'll be so sad if I throw him away. I can't do that to him, he's been so good to me. I don't often have those feelings anymore, but they help me understand her a bit more. More frequently I almost revel in throwing away everything, even stuff I end up needing later. Going from that to graduating from Stanford sounds like a long hard road to walk through. How did you do it? Moved out at 17. Got a job at Best Buy, became manager. Build confidence. Lost job, got sick, played Xbox for a year. Lost confidence. Went semi-pro in Halo 2, traveled around the country competing. Gained confidence. Got a job at an Alpha Graphics, became manager, more confidence. Took everything I'd learned to community college. Double major in varied subjects, 4.0 GPA, president of student government, president of International Honors Society. Traveled around the country giving motivational speeches to college students. 2,400 on the SAT, and a personal essay about a hoarding mother that practically wrote itself. Did you ever try to help by cleaning things yourself? If so, how did your mom react? Holy duck. We grew up in a 3-bedroom house. My 3 sisters all slept in one tiny room. My mom slept in the master bedroom. And the 3rd bedroom? Yeah, that was the spare room. Filled floor to ceiling with shit. Garbage bags stuffed with old clothes and broken toys. TV guides going back years. Cardboard boxes, etc. and etc. You literally could not open the door, because it opened inward. So for a good few years, literally, no one went into that room. It was just, you just didn't even bother. My brother and I slept on the floor in the living room. For years. No heat, on the disgusting floor where the cats pissed and sit. Sometimes I slept with my mom, but he always slept on the couch or the floor. One year he decided he'd had enough. We were going to clean out the spare room and make it our bedroom. We threw out a bunch of garbage in secret. Worked really hard for days. Got our own furniture, and surprised my mom. I think that happened in like, 95? I'd say my mother had a year-long meltdown after that. She didn't buy my brother birthday or Christmas presents for like a decade after. To this day she will lose her ducking mind if you bring up the spare room. Cleaning was literally the only sin we could commit in our family. My sister had an abortion at like 15, and it was NBD and we never talked about it. But the spare ducking room? That's like the ducking Remember the Alamo sit. Do you feel like you overcompensate in any way as an adult? Do you keep a particularly minimalistic home? A little bit, yeah? I throw things away and then later I get frustrated that I was so impulsive. But if anything, I am aggressively well adjusted. If I might toot my own horn, I'm very good at essentially looking at my behaviors and saying, that's not normal, that's a result of X condition of your childhood. Don't overcorrect, be a normal person. I will say that if anything, I feel like there's a black hole chasing me. Like as a kid I never had a family to rely on or anything, so if I didn't go all out in life, I'd fall back into the darkness. I feel like I have to work 10 times harder than anyone else for the same amount of success, because I have to support and help my circus family constantly through, honestly, a book's worth of ridiculous episodes ranging from murders, Christmas suicides, homelessness, addiction, etc. and etc. Did you ever bring friends over? I think I could list for you every single time I ever brought a friend over my house. Once my friend Katie came over for a birthday, maybe 7 or 8. We jumped on my bed for a few minutes while her parents cautiously sat on a couch. About half hour later they bailed in a hurry. Antonio came over to watch cartoons, but the heat was bad so I'm sure it smelled worse than normal. He bailed pretty quickly. Brad came over a handful of times in high school after we'd moved to a new home in the same town. Once things started getting messier, Brad would make fun of me in school about things he saw in our home. That felt like an incredibly deep betrayal. Then Brad lit a pile of garbage on fire, and I panicked the house would go up quickly because of all the kindling. Brad didn't come over anymore after that. What was the bathroom like? Did the plumbing work? Oh, for the most part, yes. I do distinctly remember periods where the toilet wasn't working for some reason. I was really young so I don't remember clearly. It was a mountain of human sit and wet toilet paper. People were sitting in toilet paper they'd hold in their hands and then put it in the garbage. Eventually I think it got fixed, but it was rough for a while. I'd go to the neighbors to use the restroom. The shower worked, but we often didn't have hot water, and NJ can get cold. Waking up in a cold house, taking a nice cold shower, and getting back out into a freezing cold house, and then waiting for the bus in January. By the time I got warm again, it was time to go home. What was the most useful thing she collected? That is a ducking incredible question. Unfortunately, I'd say the answer is probably old TV guides. Oh, she also hoarded like cables from computers and electronics, so we could usually find whatever cable we needed, or a replacement mouse or a keyboard that would kinda work. Are you still in contact with your mother? Have you ever confronted her about what your childhood was like? I talk to her almost every day. We have an okay relationship, and she gets along well in public. She doesn't handle confrontation at all. Not even a little, not even over unimportant shit. I'd love to have that catharsis, like even for her to just sit and listen about what I went through and how it made me feel. But I'll never get it. Are you living with your mom at the moment? No. I'm 32 now. She was homeless for a long time, living in her car. But she's got a job now and she's living with one of my sisters because my sister can't afford the rent on her home without some support. My mom is back to her old ways though. Her bedroom is filled from floor to ceiling clothes, dead plants, church flyers, and random shit she buys from Walmart. Luckily, my sister has been successful having my mom contain her hoarding to her bedroom. Unluckily, my mom has chosen that instead of saving for retirement, she will spend 50% of her income on a storage unit that is literally filled with garbage, and that she hasn't visited or opened in years. I think she spends about $400 a month on it.